In Xunzi's philosophical world, order does not come from the arrangement of heaven, but is the result of civilization constructed by human beings on their own initiative. He claimed that human nature is inherently evil, and advocated that only through acquired education and norms can an individual move towards the way of the saint. This is not only the pursuit of ethical cultivation, but also the foundation for the realization of the way of the king in national politics. The exhortation to learning says, "A gentleman's birth is not different from his birth, but goodness is assumed in things," pointing out that sainthood is not a gift from nature, but depends on the cultivation of the latter, and the sexual evil chapter clearly outlines the philosophical basis of this process. Human nature tends to be self-interested, with unlimited passions and desires. And if there is no systematic rituals, teachers, and lawful norms, the society will be reduced to a chaotic area. However, in Xunzi's view, ritual is not a revelation from heaven, nor is it a formal order that exists independently, but rather a social system created by the sages and the first kings, a work of human reason, and an accumulation of historical experience. Xunzi's ritual is a tool for correcting sexual evil, but more importantly, it is to guide human nature towards the completion of virtue. People acquire moral norms in accumulating falsehoods, change their temperament in being regulated by rituals, and finally realize their ideal personality through the practice of doing good. Ultimately, through the continuous practice of doing good, the ideal personality is realized, the saint. Rites are therefore not only norms, but also carriers, bridges to virtue and benevolence. Xunzi's saint is not an unadulterated sage, but a person who realizes the unity of reason and virtue through self-cultivation. He governs himself as well as the state, and is the creator of moral and political order. The sage king makes the rights, meaning that order comes from a wise ruler who establishes his government with virtue and guides people with rights. However, such rights are not the result of bottom-up democratic consultation, but of institutionalization from above. This makes Xunzi's thought show a tension between moral and political philosophy. Should virtue guide politics, or should virtue be shaped by power? Xunzi is not denying the rational ability of human beings, but transforming rationality into the inner unity of Daoxin and Lisan. Rather, Xunzi transformed reason into the inner unity of Dao Xian and Li Xian. He advocated that heaven has its own way of doing things, and that people should not rely on heaven's order, but should make use of heaven's order. Although people are evil in nature, they can be transformed from a man with a dirty mind to a saint by virtue of the reflection and learning of the heart and the discipline of rituals and laws. This process is not only an ethical upgrading, but also a political evolution. In Xunzi's view, virtue is not only an inner character, but also a force that promotes the good order of the state. If individuals cultivate virtue, the country will be ruled. If everyone tends to be good, the world will be united. The highest purpose of ritual is to enable people to express their feelings and establish a culture, to comply with their natural passions, and to control their behavior, so as to achieve harmony without disorder. The way to sainthood is not to reject sexual evil, but to recognize it, face it, and tame it. Only in this way can the individual assume social responsibility in reality, and the state establish the rule of the way of the king. Xunzi's thought ultimately points to an ideal. Under the regulation of rights, man not only accomplishes his own moral growth, but also forges a stable and harmonious political order. Sexual evil is not a sin of mankind, but the starting point of civilization. It is precisely because of this evil that people need education. It is precisely because of the rights and laws that people can become saints. In Xunzi's world, the foundation of ruling the country and leveling the world lies not in the mandate of heaven, but in the forging of human nature. In Xunzi's world, the foundation of ruling the country and leveling the world does not lie in the mandate of heaven, but in the forging of human nature. The sainthood in Xunzi's writing is not the holiness of the other side, but the fusion of personality practice and political ideals in this world. He makes us believe that a true order begins with the self-transformation of man and ends with the harmony of the people.